Tomo's courage. Tomo was a quiet, thoughtful boy who lived in a small village nestled at the foot of a mighty volcano. The villagers often spoke of the volcano with a mix of reverence and fear, for it had been dormant for centuries. But Tomo, with his curious mind and love for learning, knew more about the volcano than anyone else in the village. He spent hours reading old scrolls and studying the patterns of the earth. He was smart, but his shyness made him invisible to most. The village was a peaceful place where everyone knew everyone. Tomo's parents, humble farmers, were proud of their son's intelligence, but they worried about his timidity. They knew he had a good heart, but they wished he could be more assertive, more confident. Tomo's only true friend was an elderly scholar named Master Run, who had taken him under his wing and encouraged his passion for learning. One day, while studying near the volcano, Tomo noticed something strange. The earth beneath his feet trembled slightly, and small plumes of smoke began to rise from the mountain's peak. He rushed back to the village to share his findings, but his voice was drowned out by the chatter and laughter of the villagers preparing for the annual harvest festival. Tomo tried to speak to the village elders, but his words faltered. "The volcano," he stammered, but they simply patted his head and told him not to worry. "The volcano has been silent for generations, Tomo. There's nothing to fear," they said. But Tomo couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. That night, as the villagers celebrated the harvest, Tomo climbed the hill to Master Ren's house. The old scholar listened carefully as Tomo described the tremors and smoke. "This is serious, Tomo," Master Ren said gravely. "If the volcano is awakening, the village could be in grave danger. You must warn them." Tomo's heart sank. He had tried, but no one had listened. He was just a timid boy in their eyes. "They won't believe me," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Master Run placed a reassuring hand on Tomo's shoulder. "Courage isn't the absence of fear, my boy. It's the determination to do what is right despite that fear. You have the knowledge to save this village, Tomo, but you must find the strength within yourself to speak up." The next day, Tomo woke up with a heavy heart. The tremors had grown stronger and the smoke thicker. The villagers were oblivious, caught up in the joy of the festival. Tomo knew that he had to do something, but his legs felt like lead. How could he, a timid boy, convince an entire village of the danger they faced? As he wandered through the village, he noticed the children playing near the base of the volcano, unaware of the perilous situation. His fear for them gave him a sudden burst of resolve. He had to make them listen, for their sake, if not his own. Tomo gathered his courage and climbed onto a large rock in the village square. His heart pounded in his chest, and his voice shook, but he called out as loudly as he could, "Everyone, please listen. The volcano is going to erupt." The villagers paused, their attention finally drawn to the small boy on the rock. Murmurs spread through the crowd, but Tomo pressed on. "I've seen the signs. The tremors, the smoke, it's all in the old scrolls. We have to leave the village now." There was a moment of silence. Then one of the elders stepped forward. "Tomo, are you certain of this?" he asked, his tone more serious now. "Yes," Tomo replied, his voice steadier. "I've studied the volcano for years. If we don't leave now, it will be too late." The elder looked at Tomo, then at the mountain. The smoke was more visible now, a dark cloud rising ominously into the sky. "We must prepare to evacuate," the elder said, turning to the crowd. "Tomo may be young, but his knowledge has never led us astray before." Panic rippled through the villagers, but the elder quickly took control. "Gather your belongings and head for the river. We'll take the boats to the mainland. Hurry!" Tomo felt a wave of relief wash over him as the villagers began to move. Master Rin found him in the crowd and smiled proudly. "You did well, Tomo. You found the courage within." The villagers moved swiftly, packing what they could and heading toward the river. Tomo stayed with Master Rin, helping to guide the last stragglers. As they reached the boats, a loud rumble echoed through the air, followed by a fiery glow from the mountain's peak. The volcano was erupting. The villagers watched in horror as the once dormant giant spewed ash and molten rock into the sky. But thanks to Tomo's warning, they were safely on the boats, pushing off into the river just as the first streams of lava began to flow down the mountainside. Tomo stood at the bow of the boat, watching his village fade into the distance, engulfed by the wrath of the volcano. It was a bittersweet moment. His home was gone, but the people he cared about were safe. And for the first time, Tomo felt something new within himself, a sense of pride and confidence. He had saved his village, not with strength, but with knowledge and courage. When they reached the mainland, the villagers gathered around Tomo, their expressions filled with gratitude. The elder spoke on their behalf. "We owe our lives to you, Tomo. You saw what we could not, and you had the courage to speak when it mattered most. You are not just a smart boy. You are a hero." Tomo's face flushed with embarrassment, but there was a smile on his lips. He had never thought of himself as a hero, but he realized that courage wasn't about being fearless. It was about standing up for what was right, even when you were afraid. From that day on, Tomo was no longer the timid boy in the village. He was the boy who had saved them all, the boy who had found his voice. And though the village would have to rebuild, they knew they could face any challenge together, with Tomo leading the way. Be courageous in all you do. Please like this video. Feel free to comment in the comment section and subscribe to this channel for more content like this.